Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I'm back today to do a video. It's a thread response to Vinyl Richie, who asked us to show our top 10 albums of the year 1980. And I've seen a few videos out there from Bill at Vinylverse, Andy's Vinyl Den, I think Hannah, the Omaha Introvert, and of course Richie's videos. So I have a small list of honorable mentions. Some of them are shown by these other guys. So on my list of honorable mentions, I had things like Drama by Yes, their album without John Anderson, which was shown by Bill. I also have that Bill showed Peter Gabriel's third album, number 3. And also Permanent Waves by Rush, the album with Spirit Radio, which was shown by Andy, and I think a couple of people showed the Pretenders' first album. So that's my short list of honorable mentions. So getting into the top 10. At number 10, this was shown by a few people, and this is actually the number 1 album of 1980 on the Rate Your Music site. And that's Talking Heads' Remain in Light, which is an amazing album. I was very late coming to the Talking Heads party. I think I first got into Talking Heads with Burning Down the House, and then I kind of went backwards. And it was a band that I've always been into, but never like super heavily into them. But I've got a few of their albums now, or several of their albums, and this is probably one of their best. So Remain in Light. Number 9. I was heavily into the British ska scene back from the late 70s, early 80s, and I love this band's first album, One Step Beyond, and this is their second album from 1980. Absolutely. This is not as good as One Step Beyond, which is a classic album, but this is still a really great album. Baggy Trousers, Embarrassment, some of the more well-known tracks off of this. I still really love this album, so absolutely at number 9. And number 8, an album that I did not own back in the day. I had it on a tape from a friend who owned the album. AC/DC's Back in Black, which was my introduction. Well, not my introduction to AC/DC. I knew a few songs before this, Dirty Deeds, Highway to Hell, things like that. And back then, we really didn't know. I mean, we didn't know, some of us anyway, didn't really know, about Bon Scott and Brian Johnson, all that. To us, it was just AC/DC. So this was the first AC/DC album that I seriously got into, mainly because of the hits, title track, You Shook Me All Night Long, Hell's Bells, things like that. So number 8. Number 7 was already shown by Vinyl Richie in his video. A band that probably one of the bands that I've seen the most live in concert. Echo and the Bunnymen and their debut Crocodiles. Amazing album. Rescue, Villiers Terrace. Some amazing tracks on this, and I only saw the Bunnymen after it was their second, their second lineup when they made the comeback, which at that point only included singer Ian McCulloch and guitarist Will Sargent. But this is an amazing album. Number 7. Number 6, an album that I hadn't played in quite a while, but I actually played it the other day because I thought, you know what, I can't leave this band off of this list. And number 6 is Boy from U2. U2 gets a bit of a bad rap these days, mainly Bono, I suppose. But when you think of back in the early 80s, man, these guys were just fantastic. They could do no wrong. And the sound that they came out with at that time was just incredible. And like many people, I discovered U2 first from the album War, and then I went backwards to October and Boy, and this album is just fantastic. Adam Clayton especially sounds amazing on bass on this album. So of course this is the album that has I Will Follow is the most well-known track on this. So number 6. Number 5, I don't have the actual copy of the album, but this is an issue that came out, I think it's in the Netherlands, of UB40's first album, Signing Off. And this is sort of an alternate cover, and this is a double LP that includes some 12 inches that came out around the same time. But the full album is here, the album Signing Off, again with a much different cover, the official release. Don't know if this is a bootleg or what it is, but it sounds amazing. But if you think you know UB40 because you know Red Red Wine and some of those songs, and I love those songs as well, but those songs are very much more a pop kind of reggae. This is very much more a roots reggae. If you think you know UB40 and you don't like them because they're too polished for you, give a listen to this, and I think you'll see what I mean. This is very much in the roots tradition and amazing. It has the song "Food for Thought," which I think was a big hit single in the UK, but not really well known throughout the rest of the world. UB40 really didn't become well known until Labor of Love. So that's my number 5. Number 4, favorite artist of mine that I haven't seen anybody show yet, David Bowie and Scary Monsters. This, of course, is the album with what happens to be my favorite David Bowie song of all time, Ashes to Ashes. I absolutely love that song, and I love this album. Fashion is also on this album, the title track, but the whole thing is just fantastic. And this was my first Bowie vinyl that I owned. Obviously, I got into Bowie right around the time that I was really getting into music. Was a little bit before Let's Dance came out, probably a couple of years before. But this album had come out in 1980, obviously. So I went back and discovered this after hearing some of the songs that Bowie was doing live on the Serious Moonlight tour. And this is just fantastic. So number 4, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. Number 3, this was also shown earlier by Andy. We have Dire Straits and Making Movies. This was Dire Straits' third album. Has some monster songs in the Dire Straits canon. My favorites, Tunnel of Love is just an epic track. Romeo and Juliet, he mentioned, which is another fantastic song. Espresso Love is another great song from this. Skate Away. 7 songs on this. Just a fantastic release from Dire Straits, one of my favorites of theirs. So that's number 3. Number 2, I could not leave this band off, of course, my favorite band, and their album from 1980, The Police's Anyada Mandada, and this has been shown by a few people. One of my favorite Police albums, on some days actually my favorite Police album. It has a great early Police sound. Nice echoey guitars, great drums by Stuart Copeland, Sting's bass very prominent in the mix. Don't Stand So Close to Me, of course, being the big hit off of this. Da-da-da-da was another well-known song. A few of you guys have mentioned Canary in a Coal Mine, which is a fantastic track. Other personal favorites of mine, Shadows in the Rain, Man in Suitcase. This is a fantastic album, and if you don't like, the later Police with Every Breath You Take, and you think that's what the Police is all about, think again. This is, I think, the real Police sound on this album, and Regatta de Blanc, which came before this. So that's number 2. And the clear-cut number 1 album of 1980 for me, hands down, goes to The Beat, I Just Can't Stop It, their debut album, also known as The English Beat in North America. This used to be my favorite album of all time, which then got taken over by the Stone Roses, so it's probably sitting at number 2 right now. But this is an amazing album, easily my favorite album of 1980. Everybody will know Mirror in the Bathroom, ranking full stop, but it's just beginning to end, just the perfect album. Of course, one of the famous English ska bands, and my favorite of the English ska bands. I prefer them over the Specials and Madness, and this album is just a classic in my opinion. So there you go, number 1. So great thread, Rich, and I'll see you guys later.